means to go upwards. Ni means to come near. And Shat means eternal. And Isha is a name of the Supreme, Ishvara. So I wanted to share the first shloka with you because it's very, very wonderful. And we'll read the commentary and make some comments as we go through. So there's the invocation verse, and then there are 17 more mantras. I'll just read the Sanskrit. Punam ada punam idam punat punam udachate punasya punamadaya punameva vashishyate. So the translation: the personality of Godhead is perfect and complete, and because he is completely perfect, all emanations from him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because he is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. Lochanananda, did I hear you there? Chitralila, all I see is darkness there. It's very dark.
Yeah, Lochan was here, but he left. He has a meeting.
So we've got devotees from different parts of the world. Someone in Chile, Fatima. Chile.
Yes, Tulsi was here with us during the summer for several months.
Okay. Hola.
Yeah. Deepali also has spent some time with us, helping a lot during the festival for the Sri Gaurani's installation.
And Fatima, you're at New Mayapur somewhere?
Yes, I'm in New Mayapur, actually in my room.
C'est très bien. So this verse is very wonderful. If we read this verse together, we'll become fixed up in our journey, our long journey home. Om Purnamada Purnamidam, perfect and complete, he completely perfect, and any emanations from him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because he is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains perfectly complete. In the material world, if I steal your apple, then your apple is gone. But in the spiritual world, if Krishna steals your apple, he leaves another one there. 1 + 1 is 1, and 1 - 1 is 1. We'll read a little purport. The complete whole, or the supreme absolute truth, is the complete personality of Godhead. Realization of impersonal Brahman or Paramatma, the super soul, is incomplete realization. The supreme personality of Godhead is Satchidananda Vigraha, full of bliss, eternity, and knowledge, and form. He has a form. Realization of impersonal Brahman is realization of his Sat feature, or his aspect of eternity. And Paramatma realization is realization of his Sat and Chit features, his aspects of eternity and knowledge. But realization of the personality of Godhead is realization of all the transcendental features, Satchid Ananda. When one realizes the Supreme Person, he realizes these aspects of the Absolute Truth in their completeness. Vigraha means form, thus the complete whole is not formless. If he were formless, or if he were less than his creation in any other way, he could not be complete. The complete whole must contain everything, both within and beyond our experience. Otherwise, he cannot be complete. So, in science, they have this is a scientific fact that everything that's in the result, in the effect, must be in the cause, right? Simply, when we have children, our children has 2 hands, 2 legs, they have intelligence, they have a mind, because their parents have these things also. And similarly, in this material world, you'll find that whatever is here must be in the cause or the source. That is the basic definition of Vedic knowledge, is that the absolute truth is that from which everything emanates. Everything we see in this phenomenal world and everything we experience, just like we experience intelligence, we experience the power to see, the power to taste, the power to smell, and we have relationships, we have activities, we have very complex relationships, you know. Sometimes you have friends, and each friend makes you feel very differently about yourself. When you're with them, when you're with one friend, you feel he or she makes you experience like a different aspect of yourself. And some people have pets, and they see that their pets have personality. So everything in this material world that we experience must have its source, must exist within the source. And just like this verse is saying, everything we experience in this world is complete, you know. For every species, there is food. An elephant, you know, an elephant eats a lot of food every day. I don't know the exact proportion. I think he eats grasses and, yeah, he's vegetarian, obviously. So there's enough food for the elephant. And there is also food for the ant. And there's food for the mosquito. There is no species in this creation that has not got its foodstuff, nor has it not got its ability to reproduce. You know, sometimes we have a hazy look in the world, but the animals, they're also interested in sex life. The birds and the bees, they're running around very busy. I live in a suburban area. There's a lot of trees, a lot of birds, and they're all very busy from morning to evening. So they're also chasing after some enjoyment, some food. They have their relationships. They are singing very nicely, talking to each other. I just found a website recently, and it has all the birds. It's recordings of all the birds and their different songs. So if you were completely into it, you could study this song, and then when you heard it in the real world or outside, you know, you'd be able to say, oh, well, this is this bird and this is that bird. And later on in the purport, it describes that the human life is the most, what does it say? It's the, all facilities are given to the small complete units to enable them to realize the complete whole. All forms of incompleteness are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of the complete whole. The human form of life is a complete manifestation of the consciousness of the living being. And it is obtained after evolving through 8,400,000 species of life in the cycle of birth and death. So the human life, we're talking about animals, the birds and the bees, but they're not talking about us. Their ability to observe and appreciate the world is much more limited than us. So our consciousness, human being consciousness, is different from animal consciousness. Although there are many, many similarities, still there is this difference. And this difference enables the human being to be introspective. Actually, one of the characteristic of a human being is he's always reflective. He's always introspective. You know, you go, every day is like a whole lifetime, right? You get up in the morning, it's like at night you go to sleep, you forget everything. It's said in the Vedas that there are 72,000 nerves in the body, and they meet at one junction just near the heart. It's called the susupti. And the only time that those nerves, all 72,000 of them, get a rest, get total turned off, is when you're in deep sleep. So there are three types of consciousness: waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. So in deep sleep, you get a type of freedom. You forget your body. You forget your friends. You forget your house, your country. You forget everything in that deep sleep. And the Vedas said it's a type of miniature Brahman realization, type of not such realization, but relief from all material suffering. So that's why when people don't have good sleep, they have nervous disorders, stress, etc. So, but my point is, where was I going with it? So in that deep sleep, one gets relief from the introspection of life. Reflective, yeah, we're always reflective. And at never in one stage are we completely peaceful or perfectly happy and perfectly complete and content. You know, when are you content? When you're 21, when you're 17, when you're 80, when you're 50, when you're 42. We are moving and transitioning through this life. Our body is changing, and we have to keep moving, transmigrating. So the human form of life, being distinct from the animal life in terms of the developed intelligence, should try to understand the self and the source of the self. Now, we've already established that whatever's in the effect must be in the cause. So Krishna says, Bijam mam sarvabhutanam ham savasya prabhava bhaktaram yagyatapasam. In all these verses in Bhagavad Gita, he describes that he's the best friend of everyone. Sudidam sarvabhutanam Hridi Arjuna Tistadi. He's living in the heart. He's Hridayam Hridi Savasya Vistita. He's living in everyone's heart. Savasya Chaham Hridi Sanavista. He's giving knowledge. He's giving remembrance. He's giving forgetfulness. He's so nice, friend, that he reminds you what you were doing in your last life so that you can continue to try to fulfill what you wanted to do. You see sometimes these children, they become expert piano players at 5 years old. They're already playing Beethoven because they practiced in the last life. So we're simply trying to fulfill our desires in this world. And if we become a little awakened, then we recognize that everything is given to us by the supreme source, the supreme absolute truth. He's given everything to us. He gave us this body, which consists of senses. The fact that you can see, he becomes the sun so that you can see. He becomes the ether so that you can hear with your ears. He becomes water so that you can taste. So this whole creation is a creation. That's the point. It's not the permanent reality. It is a created machine in which you are existing, And the whole point is that you're allowed to live out some kind of existence where you feel, I am the enjoyer, I am independent, I am free. But there is no freedom, there is no independence. It is simply a dreamlike situation. Therefore, with our intelligence, we have to find out what is the permanent place where we don't have to struggle. And that permanent place is described in the Vedas. It is a service to the lotus feet of Krishna, the Supreme Person, from whom everything has come. Dhimahi, he is the person to be meditated on and to be served. So when we awaken that consciousness, it doesn't mean we have to run away and live in an ashram or a temple and full surrender. It's a long, long, long journey. Just like I lived in the ashram once. Now I'm living in this flat. My son is grown up. He's 22 now. He's left home. So I've had a life, you know. It's not that you have to give up your life and do a full surrender, but you have to practice giving your tax, giving your love, giving your devotion to the supreme source of existence, knowing him to be the actual supplier of everything. Just like every day you eat, the politicians didn't create blueberries or pumpkins or sugar. It is all coming from nature, which is given to us very generously. So the process of bhakti is simply to develop a relationship directly with the supreme source of existence, Krishna. And this relationship is not done in a kind of sentimental way or a blind way, but in full knowledge that everything is coming from the Supreme Person. And he's given me intelligence with which to understand this very simple situation. And by performing devotional service, we fulfill our duty to the source of our existence. This is the basic level. Just like people who cannot appreciate the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they worship the sun or the moon like that. So this is the basic idea in this invocation verse of Sri Upanishad. Spoken for a good 20 minutes now. It's quite a long time. Need a glass of water. Now we could have a little discussion or can talk some other things. Anybody?
I have maybe a question.
Yes, Prabhu.
So maybe where do we place the history of Sri Isopanisad and what is his background for the people who are new here or not so much acquainted to this scripture?
I'm not a Sanskritist or very learned in the Vedas, chronology and everything. But what I do know is that a huge portion of the Vedas are, people come to India and if they, you know, they mix with the locals and they travel around and see, they'll see that there is a huge amount of rituals going on, ritualistic, ceremonial mantras and pujas and worship and very, very technical things. And, you know, they use astrology and certain flowers and certain foodstuffs have to be offered in certain rituals. You know, it's very, very complicated. And what they're basically doing in that huge array of Vedic culture is worshipping the devas, the demigods. And in order to achieve material security, material desires, prosperity, and such forth. So the whole idea in the Vedas is that the living entities come to this material world to enjoy materially. So let him do it in a religious way. And therefore they provide, if you do this puja, if you do this worship, you'll get your desire fulfilled. And so gradually over lifetimes and lifetimes as a human being, finally, someone gets to the realization that material existence, material things aren't really where it's at. There's more to it, more spiritual things. Just like George Harrison, he became the most famous musician in the world with the Beatles. And he had anything he wanted, money and this and that, fame, money, adoration, but he wasn't satisfied. And we know many people are not satisfied with material things. So then one becomes philosophical. So that huge portion of the Vedas, Karma Kanda Vedas, fruit of activity, ritualistic ceremonies, then that becomes to the side and one begins with philosophical books like Vedanta Sutra and Isopanisad. And they're a smaller, more select part of Vedic literature. So the Upanishads, there are 108 Upanishads, and they are meant for stimulating the philosophical side of life and starting to understand one's source of existence. And the Sri Upanishad is, I think, the first one, or what? Anyway, I don't know. I should have read the introduction to remind myself. But anyway, it's part of the philosophical section of the Vedas, basically. Okay.
Yes, I think it's the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which was the first one written. Yeah, but there is lots of debate on how old the Upanishads are, so it is open for debate.
Okay. I was going to do a Srimad Bhagavatam first canto overview, but thought maybe this would be better for the audience. This verse is very nice, and it helps us to get the foundation of the supreme source.
I have a question.
Yes, Yash Joshi.
If we are parts of the complete and we're also complete, why do we feel incomplete?
Uh-huh. Very good. Actually, in the purport, it says that until one meets the complete whole, in a complete relationship, of complete love, one can never feel complete. For example, the soul, actually, everybody is looking for that complete. You know, like if you've been in the desert for 10 days, you know, no water, whatever, you know, you've survived, you've not had water for days and you're in the desert, and then suddenly someone comes along and gives you that much water. Yeah, just an inch of water. You're going to get some nectarian, that drop of water is going to be like nectar, bliss. But that bliss will only last 1 second, 2 seconds, maybe, right? So the soul, the self, you and me, we need an ocean of happiness. We need an ocean of love. We need to taste love that makes tears come from our eyes like rivers, makes the hairs on our body stand on end, makes us feel so much sadness and happiness and ecstasy in various ways, just like waves of a river. Like an ocean is never still, right? If you look at the ocean, it is constantly moving. I was brought up on an island, and you know, the ocean is just always moving. So similarly, until we meet the complete beauty and we are able to drink that beauty through our eyes. You know, when you look at beauty and see something beautiful, it's great, right? People go to Bali to see the sunset. They put beautiful women to advertise ice cream for children, and any product they use, beautiful people to advertise products, because the soul is looking for beauty. But all the beauty in this world is just a shadow, it's just a drop, it's just a reflection, a portion, a fraction of the actual beauty. So we feel incomplete because we are searching life after life after life after life for the complete whole. And when we see him and her in the full naked purity of spiritual power and energy and force and realization, then, the beauty is so intense that blinking becomes a great disturbance. Just to blink. That's how we want. That's what we're looking for. So we feel incomplete because we are disconnected. We are separated from the complete person who is full of all beauty, all wealth, all knowledge, all intelligence, like that. That's why we feel incomplete. Like a fish out of water, right? You heard that example before? Yes, Josie, you heard that example? Hello?
I think we know about it, yes, for sure. We heard it many times.
So like that. That's why we feel incomplete. We're experiencing beauty, relationships, and everything else through matter, not in its pure spiritual form, in its reality. It is a reflected energy. Therefore, it's complete, but it's also incomplete. It's covered completeness. It's reflected completeness. It's not substantial completeness. It's a shadow. We are in a shadow of reality.
Does that mean that if we chant Hare Krishna and Krishna does not appear in our minds and hearts, or we are unaware of Krishna, that we are still in the shadow platform or too conditioned? Or is Krishna really there and we just too ignorant to see it or do not feel it?
Well, yeyitamam prapachante. Once we start to chant Hare Krishna, Chaito Dharpanamajanam, then we very quickly experience Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna, even immediately. But it's not full realization. And actually at the beginning, there may be a rush intensity, but then we hit a kind of brick wall. We hit a hill that we have to go over. Krishna is not so easy to get, and we've got to get over this hump of conditioning, or we've been in this material world for a long time. So to experience Krishna fully is going to take some time and take some intensity of practice and intensity of desire. Yeyatamam prapajante. As Krishna says, as all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. So you can't fully surrender until you're fully spiritually strong, and you can't get spiritual strength until you cleanse the heart of association of this material world. Being in the material world for a long time, it's like we have to reverse the process that got us in here. And when you go into reverse, you've got to go back through all those desires in your heart that you developed by association with the incomplete manifestation, which are basically material desires, basically. And when you try for material desires, you develop a lot of bad qualities, very deep, subtle qualities. So they take time to remove from the heart. But everything can be done. The main process to cleanse that heart, cleanse the consciousness, is this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. With intensity and attention and daily. Every day is a lifetime.
Thank you for that. That's true.
So, anything else? I thought I'd be seeing a few more of you, but it's...
The prasadam room looks very dark there at the moment.
Yeah, amazing. So I was very unhappy when I left New Mayapur, very sad. And I had such a nice time. Lochan added me to the WhatsApp group for the volunteers, so I get 1 million messages a day now.
Yeah, nice.
I'm seeing what's going on. But anyway, look forward to see you again one day.
Yes, for sure.
Coming back when it's a bit warmer, when the COVID virus calms down and whatever. I just heard a tourist visa for devotees may be allowed for India, so I may go to India in February.
Oh, wow. So if you prove that you are a devotee, you can go to India?
Yeah, you have to contact Panchagoda Prabhu, temple president, New Vrindavan, very nice devotee. And he gets you a signed letter. And with that letter, you can use a tourist visa. That's what I've heard. It's not confirmed.
Okay,
I'll let you know more.
I'll write this down.
Panchagoda Prabhu, temple president of Vrindavan.
Okay, thank you.
He's a real nice, easy going person. Anything else? Chitralila?
Well, I don't know if there's... Everyone is on Zoom, so...
Okay.
Any questions? Tosi, Dipali, I don't know.
Yes, I have one question, please.
Please.
Prabhu, as you said that the Supreme Lord is providing everything necessary for us, then why in this material world there is so much competition? I mean, why is there is the principle survival of the fittest?
Yeah. Human beings are meant to take direction from the Vedas, and those Vedas are supposed to be administrated by the leaders in human society. Society has administration, kings and Brahmins and learned people, and there's a structure, there's a social structure, and in that structure, when it's followed according to Vedic wisdom, there is peace. There is peaceful existence. But because it's the material world, even in those times of peace, there's disruption. Material world means disruption. When greed is the worst quality of the human being. So when that greed is able to, is acted upon, then there's this struggle for existence. This is the material world. There's, no matter how much harmony and peace can be there, when the Vedas are followed properly, there'll always be some disturbance along the way. Of course, in the beginning of time, there was total peace in Satya Yuga. No one had the mode of passion. Everyone was in the mode of goodness. So they just lived like yogis with no possessions, and there was no fighting or such forth. But as time goes on, the material values increase. And so there's always, and now we see it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So basically, this is not human life. When I want to exploit you, when I want to take more than what's allotted to me, when I want to ignore the spiritual values of brotherhood, sisterhood, this is human life. And animal life means I'm in competition with you, and I want more than you, and I want you to serve me, and I want to exploit you like this. So we see the animal tendencies becoming very strong now in Kali Yuga, that even the governments and the politicians, they're like ferocious animals. They're greedy, exploiting the citizens for more and more of their own selfishness like that. So don't be surprised of anything that happens in this material world. So there's enough for everyone, and everyone can be peaceful, but they have to be human beings. Trouble is they're two-legged animals. Therefore they're taking more than what's allotted to them. Like the earth, they're taking all this plastic and metals from the earth and creating all this stuff that no one needs, and the pollution, all that. It's a bad time. Okay.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
It's Luisa. I'm gonna try the video. I have a question. Haribol.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna. I wanted to ask, why do we study Sri Upanishad more than the others? In Upanishad, I mean.
More than?
Why do we focus on Sri Upanishad more than the other Upanishad?
Oh, this is the one Upanishad that was translated for us by the founder of the Hare Krishna movement.
Mm-hmm.
It is, like I say, it's quite a small book, and he translated Bhagavad Gita and then Srimad Bhagavatam and two other very big books. Srimad Bhagavatam is very big. So he just added the Isopanisad. It is more favored by devotees than the other Upanishads, I imagine. It's the one he chose for us, our guru. And, I haven't read any of the other Upanishads.
Me too, that's why I was wondering, is there any purpose to read review?
So, yeah. I mean, I have read other Vedas, like the Garuda Purana, and I've read some Padma Purana and a few other things, and it gets more confusing if you read too many Puranas, because the histories are so vast.
Yeah.
And for example, one history may come from another period of time because of the cyclical nature of time. It means that we're in Kali Yuga right now, so some of the histories might be from 10 Kali Yugas ago. So it gets extremely fast. So we keep it simple. Basically, when we're beginning, Bhagavad Gita and the Sri Upanishad are very good books for beginning. Then later you can start Srimad Bhagavatam. Very nice. Nice. Les histoires sont là. Beaucoup des histoires.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, well, this is time going now. Chitra, tell me something.
I mean, does anyone else have any comments they would like to make?
Well, there is a very famous Upanishad that devotees like a lot. It's the Gopal Tampani Upanishad. It's also very small, but it's very favored by devotees apart from this one. Just a small note. We had it in the Bhaktivedanta College in Belgium temple. I used to stay there and I found this little book and I was asking to the devotees, what is this little book? Oh yeah, that is the Gopal Tampani Upanishad. Okay, it's very nice, very interactive.
Yes, I think I read that. It's like, is it Lord Shiva saying the names of Gopal, all the different names of Gopal and stuff?
I think there are two stories in that Upanishad from Krishna, and I think the first one will be related. I can't remember so much, but there was two stories. One with Krishna playing around with the gopis, and then the other one with the sage doing the serious thing. Yeah, it has both serious and fun.
Great. Yeah, there's so many Upanishads, and I've read that one a long time ago. I can't remember as well. So they're nice. There's Mahabharata. What's that? Pancha Tantra is the allegorical stories of these animals. It's a bit like Aesop's fables. You know, Vedic literature broadens the mind, you know. It has, it deals with different dimensions than Western literature. So it's really special. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Okay, maybe we can end there, unless anyone has some last thing to say. But
Thank you very much, everyone.
thank you very much.
Hope to see you again sometime. Jai Dad.
Haribol, thank you.
Jai.
Very nice to have your association again. Thank you.
See you. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your time.
Bye.